Spider-Man: Edge of Time is the spiritual successor to last year's Shattered Dimensions, which was that very rare thing, a good Spider-Man game. Though not without its faults, it did have variety, colourful villains, and interesting gameplay choices, but many of the things that game did so well have been undone by Edge of Time. The plot is fairly straightforward. To begin with, Walker Sloan travels back in time to establish the nefarious Alchemax Corporation sooner. He succeeds, and it replaces the Daily Bugle. In the process, the original Spider-Man is murdered by Anti-Venom, meaning Spider-Man 2099 has to team up with Peter Parker from the new alternate timeline to mend the rift in the space-time continuum. If you've ever seen Back to the Future, you'll be fairly familiar with the premise, I'm sure.
My force field just changed for the centuries! Robot guards!
Sadly, gone is the lovely art style which marked out Shattered Dimensions. The Amazing Spider-Man is no longer rendered with inky black outlines. Instead, he looks just as plastic as his futuristic counterpart. And while the game has a promising opening with stylishly choreographed camera movements, giving it a real cinematic feel, this level of production soon dries up. Also gone is the neat episodic structure of Shattered Dimensions, which had you pursuing one of Spidey's many charismatic villains across distinctive environments. This is a much more linear game, in which you periodically switch between characters present and future. Environments and opponents are insipid and quickly grow tiresome. The garishly lit laboratories of Alchemax soon blend with the drab brown corridors of what used to be the Daily Bugle. Robots, mutants, even the Black Cat, one of the few recognisable villains to make an appearance, all feel the same. You'll no longer switch into POV when dueling it out with a boss like in Shattered Dimensions, instead you hop around repeating the same moves. It's a real shame, making the game feel much less stylish. You'll do the same things time and time again in Edge of Time, no matter which Spider-Man you're controlling. A central feature is the idea of quantum causality. What you do in one time period directly affects the other. But this idea is never really developed and feels superficial and gimmicky as a result. Gameplay switches back and forth between the different Spider-Men, so they help each other out of sticky situations, and occasionally destroy something in the past like a prototype killer robot, so it doesn't exist in the future. But most of the time you'll be mindlessly mashing buttons in pursuit of a key to unlock a door, which takes you to a room where you have to smash up a generator or flip a switch. It all gets very repetitive very quickly. At one point, Spider-Man knowingly acknowledges that in video games, actions have to be done in threes. Does it then proceed to deconstruct this cliche? Nope. You'll spend most of your time doing things in units of three. Other gameplay features like free-falling as Spider-Man 2099 occur time and time again. The same goes for deactivating consoles and opening doors. There are so many cut and paste set pieces in fact, that even with a merciful running time of around 6 to 7 hours, the campaign becomes unbearably monotonous. After the promise of Shattered Dimensions, Edge of Time is a step in the wrong direction. It unstitches so many of the things that its predecessor got right. The distinctive art style, the interesting POV fight sequences, and varied gameplay afforded by 4 different protagonists have all been abandoned, replaced by monotonous gameplay and insipid presentation. It's definitely not spectacular, certainly not amazing. Edge of Time is more a case of the remarkably disappointing Spider-Man.
Right!